Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna show you the best ways to blend oil pastels. Here are the first 3 tips you need to know about blending oil pastels. Number 1. When you apply oil pastels, start from the darks and gradually move to lighter colors. There can be exceptions where you might have to apply a dark spot to a lighter color, but generally speaking, you start with your darks first. Second tip, when you apply oil pastels, you need to apply the first layer with enough pressure so that your support does not show through. You don't apply oil pastels with a delicate touch and leave a lot of white space underneath. It's also recommended that you first give your paper or canvas an acrylic color wash before you apply your oil pastels over the dried acrylic background. This is a method that I almost always use on large pieces. Rather than starting off with oil pastels, I first apply an acrylic color layer. The third and the last tip is that you do not apply oil pastels in separate sections like this. If you intend to blend the colors and get a gradient effect, you need to have an area where 2 or more colors overlap. Alright, with these 3 tips in mind, I will show you my favorite ways to blend oil pastels. All the methods that I'm going to talk about here are methods that I have personally tried and tested. The first and my absolute favorite method is to use my fingers. I will start with a darker color and slowly move to lighter shades. When I get to the point where the two colors mix, I use my fingers to blend the two colors and make the edges look hazy and blurry so that this looks like a gradual transformation of color. To me personally, this is the most effective and the most flexible way to blend. This gives me a lot of control regarding where I place more pressure and how much I blend. This is also the method that has the least amount of waste in my opinion. I have noticed that I waste a lot of pastel when I blend using tissue papers, so I rarely use those. However, keep in mind that this method is the most effective if you are working with very creamy and soft oil pastel brands. The next method is to use the pastel itself to blend. So just like before, I'm starting off with a darker shade. When I get to the place where the two colors mix, I use the pastel itself to mix the two colors. When you mix with your pastel, use lighter circular and irregular motions so that the edge will look hazy and blurry. The third method is to use a blending stump. Some oil pastel brands like the Sennelier provide a colorless blender that works just like a stump. I only use a stump to cover those little areas like an eye, a small leaf, a stem. I don't use stumps to blend large areas of the paper. For that purpose, almost always use my fingers. I use the stump to do the detailed work. The fourth method I have tried is to use an oil pastel solvent like linseed oil, turpentine, or any kind of paint thinner that you can use on oil paints. Oil pastels are made of more or less the same ingredients as oil paints, so any solvent that you can use on oil paints should work on oil pastels too. I have tried this only once before, and that was with Sennelier and linseed oil. I'm not sure how solvents work on harder, waxier oil pastel brands that have more binder in them and less oil and pigment. So I would like to recommend this method only for artist quality oil pastel brands. I think this works the best when you have to cover a large area of your paper because you can use a brush to quickly cover the area. Also, this method works best for the first layer of color because when you apply oil pastels with a solvent, it tends to dry faster. There are other blending techniques called stippling and scrambling. In these methods, you apply your pastels in dots or little scrambly lines and fill up your surface that way. I have never tried these methods, so I'm not going to talk about them here. Quite honestly, I don't think I will try them either because they seem to be extremely time consuming methods to work with your oil pastels, and I just don't think I have that much patience. But I have seen large pieces of work done using these methods, and they look outstanding because they have a very unique textured effect. So it could be worth your time if you can conjure that much enthusiasm to do an entire painting just by applying little dots. Alright, so that's about it for my oil pastel blending techniques. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And please click the bell icon to be notified of future videos because I post videos of different art content every week. Thanks for watching this, and I'll see you next time with more art videos. Bye for now.